What's going on, everyone? Chris from Pickdawgz.com here with the Wraparound. We're going to be breaking down the NHL action going down on Tuesday, December 12th, 2023. Just a reminder, if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Smash that thumbs up. We appreciate all the love and support. You know, we're just past 100 million views here on our YouTube channel. Again, couldn't have done that without all of you guys, so thank you so much for that. If you're looking for my best bets on the board, the games I love the most, including my NHL best bets, you head over to Pickdawgz.com, click the Premium Picks tab at the top of the page. Had a great day on Monday, hoping to carry that forward into Tuesday's action. And I want to be able to do that for you guys. You know, the best value. I'm going to have some plays on the board. I have an NHL 3-pack, as well as some hoops plays as well, if that's what you're into. Best value, though, going with a long-term pass. You're going to get all the action, regardless of what sport it is. You're going to get covered. And the 3-day pass will actually be, I think, almost the same price, if not cheaper than each of my packages individually, my daily packages individually on Tuesday. So definitely make sure it's something that you check out. Let's make you some money. Like I've said the last few days, the holidays are approaching. You know, we're running out of time to get those Christmas presents, and they can be expensive. Those credit card bills are getting racked up. Let's make you guys some money as we head into a new and a prosperous New Year's at that. So let's take a look. We got a 10-game NHL card on Tuesday. You guys know the drill. You ready? I'm ready. Let's get into it. Up first, we're heading to Madison Square Garden, where the New York Rangers take on the Toronto Maple Leafs. And, you know, this is going to be a great matchup. Two heavyweights in the Eastern Conference. Now, you know, it's tempting to go with the Rangers here, you know, being at home. But the Leafs have also won back-to-back meetings in this series. And Toronto, no slouch themselves. They fell apart in the first half of the back-to-back against the Islanders on Monday night. But I still think we got a bit of a defensive battle here. You know, head-to-head between these two teams, the under is hit in the last 3 meetings and in 5 of the last 6. A lot of these being first to 3 meetings, the first to 3 kinds of games. Some of these needing overtime as well. I think, you know, what could be a potential playoff preview if a lot of bounces go both these teams' ways and they make it a little bit further into the playoffs. This would be a great series, and I think that we're going to have a playoff-type atmosphere in this one. I'm going to go with the under 6.5. I think we got first to 3 written all over this one. Next, we head to the Canadian Tire Center, where the Ottawa Senators take on the Carolina Hurricanes. And the Carolina Hurricanes in a slump right now. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I mean, 4-5-1 in their last 10 games, and they've lost 4 in a row. They're just coming off of, you know, their 4-3 loss to Vancouver. This Canadian road trip has not gone to plan for the Carolina Hurricanes. They've been outscored by a combined 15-7 scoreline in those 4 games. Now, it's easy to say that Carolina is much better than what we've seen up to this point, and I'm not disagreeing with that, but they are a far different team when they're at the PNC Arena at home. When they're on the road, they're just 6-10 this season. The Ottawa Senators, a history and a reputation of playing their better hockey at home, even in those years where they were struggling and there was just a really down time in Ottawa. I think we're getting plus money with them here in a favorable spot. I'm going to take the Senators on the money line here at plus 126. Now we head to the PPG Paints Arena, where the Pittsburgh Penguins take on the Arizona Coyotes, and two teams that could probably use a win right now. I think that's fair to say. You know, the Pittsburgh Penguins coming into this one, losers of 4 in a row, scoring 1 goal in each of their last 3 games, while Arizona losers of 3 straight. The first 2 games of this road trip not going their way either, giving up 5 goals in each of those games. Now, the difference for me, though, in this game is that while both teams are struggling, it's been the Pittsburgh Penguins that, yes, have had some issues with keeping with putting the puck in the net, but they've been keeping the puck out of the net pretty well. You know, you've had Tristan Jarry, you know, give up 3 goals and 2 goals in his last 2 starts. Alex Nedeljkovic was solid in his start. He gave up 2 goals in the overtime loss to Philadelphia. So I think that the Pittsburgh probably in the better spot to bounce back here. Arizona, they are a solid team, but they are a much better team on home ice at Mullet Arena, 8-5 at home compared to just 5-7-2 on the road. And, you know, Arizona's given up 14 goals over the course of this 3-game losing streak. Connor Ingram, Carl Vejmelka started to slide a little bit. And not only that, you know, the Pittsburgh Penguins have flat out owned this matchup. They're on a double-digit win streak head-to-head against the Coyotes. And a lot of these games haven't been close. I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Penguins to win this one in regulation, knock that minus 188 price down to something more manageable around minus 130. But wouldn't be surprised I wouldn't argue if you took a puck line with the Penguins either. But either way, give me Pittsburgh in regulation here. Next, we head to the Enterprise Center, where the St. Louis Blues take on the Detroit Red Wings. And again, another matchup between two teams that could probably use a win pretty badly right now. The St. Louis Blues have lost 3 straight. The Detroit Red Wings have lost 3 straight. Detroit giving up 16 goals in those 3 games, including that loss that started the losing streak where they collapsed against the San Jose Sharks with 4 goals in the second period allowed, and then ended up losing that game in overtime. On the other side, though, you got the St. Louis Blues, who have sort of been in that same fate. 14 goals allowed over the course of their 3-game losing streak. But what stands out to me here is that both of these teams have struggled in their last couple games to score. Well, aside from giving up goals, Detroit in their last 2 games has scored just 4 goals. St. Louis has scored just 6 over the course of this 3-game losing streak. To me, even though both of these teams have had shaky goaltending performances as of late, we know that there is still talent in these creases. Jordan Binnington and Joel Hofer for St. Louis, Ville Husso and James Reimer for the Red Wings, and Alex Lyon as well for the Red Wings. To me, this just shapes up to be a low-scoring matchup between 2 teams that, like I said, are just trying to get back on track, forgetting about running up the score or anything like that. I think they just want to, change their course. So I'm going to take the under 6.5 in this one. I'm looking for a physical battle the entire way. Could see a 4-2 game, whichever way you slice it. Now we head to the Bridgestone Arena where the Nashville Predators take on the Philadelphia Flyers. And, 2 teams that are playing some solid hockey right now. The Nashville Predators, for the better part of the season, have done their best work on home ice, where they're 9-6 this season. The Philadelphia Flyers, they've won 4 straight and are 9-4-1 on the road. And, Nashville's won 4 of 5 themselves. So this is going to be a fantastic matchup, especially when you consider there's not a whole lot of head-to-head trends to go on here, as these 2 teams have traded wins back and forth in this matchup for the last 7 meetings. Nashville won the most recent meeting back in February of 2023. But to me here, I think the Flyers have the edge. I think they have the edge in current form and goaltending, with Carter Hart playing some of his best hockey of the season. The Preds have got some solid goaltending from UC Saros, and like I said, the Preds have played their better hockey at home this season. But I think all the value here is on the Philadelphia Flyers. So give me Philadelphia on the money line in this one. Up next, we're heading to Climate Pledge Arena, where the Seattle Kraken take on the Florida Panthers. And the Seattle Kraken right now just can't get out of their own way. They've lost 8 games in a row. A lot of that has to do with the lack of offense. They got shut out last time out against the Minnesota Wild at home. It's like, when is it going to get better? They've scored 3 goals or less in each of the 8 games during this losing streak. And now they welcome the Florida Panthers to town, a Florida team that really, they had this slow start to the year, but since then have been on an absolute roll. They're 8-4-2 on the road this season. The knock for Seattle last year was that they couldn't win at home. They were much better on the road. This year, it doesn't seem to matter where the Kraken are playing. They're losing hockey games. If you combine the regulation and overtime losses, Seattle just 8-21 this season. Almost about to be passed for potentially the worst record in hockey, or at least the worst record in the Western Conference. So I got to go with the Florida Panthers here. It's a reasonable price with the Panthers, all things considered, and just the gap of form between these 2 teams right now. So give me the Florida Panthers on the money line in this one. Now we head to Rogers Arena, where the Vancouver Canucks take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. An interesting matchup here. The Tampa Bay Lightning finally got Andrei Vasilevsky back. I was saying that as long as this team could tread water, they would be in good shape. And, as of late, they have been. They've won 3 of their last 4 games, and they've owned this matchup head-to-head with Vancouver in the past. They've won 7 straight meetings and 9 of the last 10. But a lot of those came when the Vancouver Canucks were a bit of a laughingstock in the National Hockey League. It is not like that anymore. They've won back-to-back games now that the Canucks have. They're 10-3-1 at home this season, and the matchup earlier this season that Tampa Bay won was in Tampa Bay, and the Vancouver Canucks have been less effective on the road this season, as have the Tampa Bay Lightning. 5-8-2, the Lightning are on the road this season, heading into Vancouver. I think this is a great spot for Vancouver to snap that head-to-head losing streak. I'm going to take the Vancouver Canucks on the money line in this one. Now we're heading to the T-Mobile Arena, where the Vegas Golden Knights take on the Calgary Flames. And this another interesting matchup here. The Vegas Golden Knights were really struggling for the early part of the month and even going back to late November, but now they've started to really turn around. They've won 3 straight and 5 of 6. And now, they take on a Calgary Flames team that's dropped 4 of 5. And if you follow me here on the Wraparound, you followed me in my hockey videos and with Rod going back to last year, my thoughts on the Calgary Flames. I look to fade this team wherever possible, especially on the road. They're 5-8-2 on the road this season. Vegas 10-2-2 at home. They've snapped out of that little funk that they were in, scoring goals in bunches. They've scored 4 or more goals in each of the 5 wins during this 5-1 run in their last 6, and they've scored 4 or more goals in 6 of their last 7 games overall. I just don't trust the Flames to be able to keep up in a spot like this. I'm going to go with the Vegas Golden Knights at home. Maybe on the money line, minus 170 is a bit of a hefty price, but if you're comfortable with it, I'd take the money line. You can also look at a regulation play or taking the Golden Knights minus 1.5 for some plus money. But either way, it's going to be the Golden Knights for me in this one. Next, we head to Rogers Place, where the Edmonton Oilers take on the Chicago Blackhawks, and the Edmonton Oilers a hefty favorite. Back to sort of where we expected to see the Edmonton Oilers in a matchup like this over the course of the regular season, and they're finally turning it on. They've won 7 games in a row. Back to getting to what the Oilers, like I said, are supposed to look like. The Chicago Blackhawks, on the other hand, well, they've started to look like what the Blackhawks expected to look like for much of the season. They've scored 3 goals or less in each of their last 7 games, 2 goals or less in 5 of those 7, coming off a 4-2 loss to the Washington Capitals. And the bottom line is, I don't know if the Blackhawks are going to do enough to score to keep themselves within the cover on the puck line. Because I don't know if they're going to be able to upend the Edmonton Oilers for as much crap as I've talked about the Edmonton Oilers and the goaltending for much of the season. And I kind of wonder if Edmonton could potentially get to this total on their own. I would lean towards Edmonton on the puck line for a side here, but again, you're not getting any real sort of value with Edmonton on the puck line. So I'm going to take Edmonton and Chicago to go over 6.5 in this game. You look head to head between these two teams. The over's been fairly common. It's hit in each of the last 4 meetings. Each of the last 4 meetings have seen at least 7 goals. We saw at least 9 goals in each of the last 3 meetings going back to last year. So I'm going to take the over 6.5 in this one, and that's going to be my free pick for this game. Our final game on the board takes us to the SAP Center, where the San Jose Sharks take on the Winnipeg Jets. And I'll tell you, the San Jose Sharks, they better get a bit of a hero's welcome when they come back to San Jose. They played some of their best hockey this season on their recent road trip. They managed to win 3 games. They managed to split. If you had told me going out onto that road trip that the San Jose Sharks, who had all those issues on the road, hadn't won a game on the road going into that road trip, were going to come out with a split, I might have thought you were crazy. But they didn't just come out with a split. They went 5-1 on the puck line in those 6 games. Obviously all underdogs in those spots. So give them credit where it's due. And now playing some respectable hockey, coming home to take on a Winnipeg Jets team that, yes, has played well on the road, and they've won 4 games in a row themselves. But a lot of those games weren't necessarily runaways against some of the weaker teams in the conference. They faced the Carolina Hurricanes at home, who were on a losing streak. They only won that game 2-1. They barely got by the Chicago Blackhawks 3-1, and then they had back-to-back road wins over the Colorado Avalanche, which is a solid road win, but also against the Anaheim Ducks 4-2. And I think that San Jose may have some confidence to come into this game and try to at least keep it close. San Jose's won 5 of the last 7 meetings between these two teams, and each of the last 3 meetings for the Sharks has gone past 60 minutes. So I'm going to take a shot here on the Sharks plus the 1.5. Might sprinkle a little bit on the money line as well. But I'm going to take a stab at this game to go to overtime as well. Heavy plus money at plus 400, so you'll be looking for the 60-minute tie. But either way, that's where I think is where the value is in this game to round things out. That's it. That's all the NHL action for Tuesday, December 12th, 2023. If you like this video, please make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and make sure you hit that notification bell to get the newest and most up-to-date content here at Pick Dawgz. And if you're looking for my best bets, remember to check out Pick Dawgz Premium, and also make sure to let me know your NHL picks in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.